Hello, everybody. I'm Elaine Whitmire, and before I start talking about studio faculty, I want to thank Isabella Mazzarolo, who's in Australia at the Melbourne Conservatorium. She helped me co-write this presentation. Studio faculty are responsible for teaching private lessons to students in their instrument or vocal discipline. This includes developing personalized lesson plans, addressing technical and artistic aspects of performance, and providing feedback to help students refine their skills. Studio faculty help students select appropriate repertoire that challenges their technical abilities while also aligning with their musical interests and goals. They inspire and they motivate students, encourage regular practice, and help students remain committed to the learning of their instrument. A key responsibility for studio faculty is preparing students for performances, auditions, examinations, and competitions. This includes not only rehearsal strategies, but also coaching students on stage presence, interpretation, and presentation. Studio faculty also act as mentors in artistic development, career choices, and professional growth. The one-to-one teaching setting between studio faculty and students allows teachers to adapt their pedagogical approach to the individual needs of each student. Most students see their applied studio faculty at least once a week and rely on them as an important authority in their musical development, often building a strong trust. Due to all of these crucial and intertwining factors, applied studio faculty have significant influence in students' musical education and career trajectory. Often, the studio teacher is present throughout the entirety of a musician's education and career. This can be as early as 5 years old, sometimes even younger. Drawing on the developmental perspective of music education, studio faculty have a unique position to tailor instruction to the student's developmental stage. At the point of tertiary music education, most students are technically advanced, but still developing holistically, physically, psychologically, and socially. They are under significant performance pressure and identity formation as professional musicians. Additionally, studio faculty must be aware of occupational health risks specific to their instrument, literature, and various performance practices in order to incorporate preventative measures into their teaching. Many of these practices can fall within the studio faculty members' scope of teaching performance skills, but it is important that studio teachers recognize these skills as competencies that they must first acquire and develop themselves in order to competently guide and instruct their students, rather than assume that these skills will develop intuitively or through experience alone. Also, studio faculty develop an individual understanding of their students, enabling them to identify changes in their students' mental and physical health and act as a first line of defense in injury prevention. Research shows that students often feel comfortable raising occupational health concerns with their studio faculty. In my dissertation study of student cellists, 86% of the students agreed they would feel comfortable seeking help for cello playing related issues from their applied faculty. Moreover, studio faculty play an essential role in ensuring that students engage in safe and sustainable practice routines. They help students learn to consider biological factors, such as monitoring playing techniques, to reduce risk of repetitive strain, vocal fatigue, or embouchure issues. Further, they teach the importance of warm-ups, breaks, and ergonomic setup during practice and performance. Health-informed studio faculty are uniquely positioned to observe potential risks, such as improper posture or excessive strain during practice and performance. A studio faculty teacher can learn to be able to recognize problem areas, ask students targeted questions to identify issues, and suggest technical solutions or practice methods. Without having medical or healthcare training, it is inappropriate for studio teachers to offer diagnoses of student health problems. However, studio teachers are well positioned to help students identify early signs and symptoms of playing-related health problems that may need treatment, and refer them to seek a qualified healthcare professional when necessary. In addition, studio faculty can also address psychological factors that affect students. It is crucial that studio faculty create a safe space for communication and normalize conversations about mental health and self-worth beyond technical achievement. Teachers can help students set appropriate goals with consideration to student mental health, encourage a growth mindset, and acknowledge problems like music performance anxiety or perfectionism as legitimate concerns. For example, a studio teacher asking a simple question such as, "How are you feeling about your upcoming performance?" provides a student with an opportunity to address any current problems they may be experiencing. Of course, there are healthcare professionals that would be best suited to deal with some of these concerns. However, it is important that studio faculty are aware of potential physical or mental health concerns, that they create an open dialogue for addressing these concerns, and understand how to direct students to other sources of support as appropriate. There are also social considerations related to studio culture that must be considered. Is over-practicing rewarded? Are injuries hidden to avoid appearing weak? In my study, only 46% of student cellists reported that they would feel comfortable requesting consideration for a cello playing related health issue, such as taking a break from a concert cycle. This is another reason why studio faculty must foster a supportive, non-punitive environment where students feel safe disclosing health concerns. Since studio faculty serve as role models for their students, they must model healthy practices with regard to musicians' occupational health concerns. Studio faculty should foster a performance culture that promotes health literacy as part of musical identity and promote the idea that artistry and health are not in conflict. In order for studio faculty to be able to competently attend to the unique needs highlighted, training must cover general and instrument-specific health knowledge that equips teachers with understanding of musician-specific health issues, such as injury prevention, overuse, performance anxiety, and recovery strategies. Guidance on how to discuss health-related topics sensitively and ethically in lessons. Understanding the appropriate language and terminology to be used with students when discussing different mental and physical health issues, as well as the consideration of the teacher's own well-being when supporting their students' health concerns. However, there are a number of limitations that restrict the implementation of such training. While this training might occur in pedagogy degrees or certifications required for studio teachers, such qualifications are varied and inconsistent internationally, with some countries requiring prerequisite qualification and others being relatively unregulated, holding to the common assumption that excellence in performance equates to excellence in teaching. Another significant issue studio faculty face is the absence of structured professional development regarding occupational health. Currently, there are no standardized guidelines or formal requirements to ensure faculty engage in ongoing training in this area. And as a result, the level of knowledge and engagement varies widely from one institution to another. This lack of consistency matters. It means that some faculty may be unaware of important health risks their students face or may not feel equipped to address them. Compounding the issue is the fact that faculty are not regularly updated on new research or emerging best practices related to musicians' health. Without regular refreshers or exposure to evolving knowledge, even well-meaning instructors can fall behind. This leaves studio faculty ill-prepared to incorporate instrument or genre-specific occupational health concepts into their studio teaching role. Ultimately, this leaves a gap in the support system our students rely on, not because faculty don't care, but because they simply haven't been given the tools or opportunities to stay informed. Additionally, in my study of cellists, 93% of students and faculty agreed the delivery of performing arts health education should be the responsibility of the applied studio faculty. Addressing the role of studio faculty is crucial if we want to create a healthier, more sustainable environment for the next generation of musicians. This is a complicated position for studio faculty. If you look at this complex web of responsibility, the studio faculty is the keystone, imperative not only for creating musicality and performance excellence, but for addressing occupational health concerns in order to achieve total musician health. To support the health of all musicians, we must start with those who guide them most directly, the studio faculty. Health education must be integrated directly into faculty training. Music schools must reform their curriculums to include injury prevention and occupational health. Faculty need to be equipped not just to teach their art, but to promote healthy practices and recognize when students may be at risk. The applied studio can become a space of health protection and promotion. However, this can't happen in isolation. Partnering with healthcare professionals like physical therapists, occupational medicine experts, and specialists in performing arts medicine can bring essential insights into faculty development, making the training more practical, relevant, and effective. But training shouldn't be a one-time event. Studio faculty need ongoing professional development. That includes mandatory workshops on key topics like posture, ergonomics, and mental health. These should be regular, expected parts of a studio faculty member's role, not optional extras. In addition, creating support networks amongst faculty, spaces where they can share strategies and experiences, can foster a stronger, more health-conscious culture across music departments. If we want to achieve all of these essential roles on screen, the responsibility for studio faculty to address music-specific health concerns must be made clearer and more intentional. In addition to being a space for musical excellence, the studio must be a foundation for health literacy, injury prevention, and career sustainability. The studio must exemplify a new culture in music education, where health is not an afterthought, but an essential part of training world-class musicians. Thank you.